Hey everyone! In this video, I'm going to be putting my entire career on the line because I am going to be expressing my opinion on the internet. So if you don't hear from me again, the Gamer Mafia's probably found me. So I want to talk about why my game Polymino is only available on Steam despite being an indie game. A lot of indie games now are published on itch.io, which is more indie game oriented. They take less of a cut of your revenue, and it's also just the place where people go to find new indie games. So you get a lot more attention on there as an indie game developer, and that's really important. But in my particular game's case, Steam makes so much more sense. So I want to talk about that because I think it's a perspective that doesn't get shared a lot. Also, this is going to be a bit of a ranty video, so before we get too off the rails, the opinions I express are mostly relative to just my one game, Polymino. It's not something that I think all developers should think about their games. It's not even something that I see myself thinking for all of my future games. I just wanted to make this video to, I guess, like express some opinions about the PC gaming market that I don't think I see expressed very often. So let's do it. So first of all, I think that Steam deserves its 30% cut of my game's revenue. You know, I think Valve gets a lot of shit for not making games anymore and for only focusing on like CSGO skins and Steam, but I don't think enough people appreciate how great Steam is and how much better PC gaming is because of Steam. Just look at an example from another industry, right? Like Netflix and streaming services in general now. Netflix used to be awesome because it was cheap and everything was on there, and you started hearing this like insane idea of people not paying for cable anymore and just using Netflix. They were getting all their TV and movies from this one cheap service, and now every single publisher under the sun has their own streaming service and they don't put their content anywhere else. So now you have to have a handful of streaming services. Each one of them is more expensive than Netflix used to be. A lot of them have ads now. They have way less content, and it sucks. I think that we're really lucky that the PC gaming landscape isn't like that. I think it's really great that Steam is like the de facto place where you get all your games. They're all in one spot. They go on sale frequently. There's so many features which Steam adds which make it, you know, more enjoyable. And I mean, other publishers have tried to compete with Steam, but, you know, they just can't compete with how good Steam is. Like when you install a game on Steam published by EA, and the next time you boot up your computer, you see the little Origin icon in your system tray, and now Origin is going to boot up with your computer every single time you turn it on, you don't think, oh, finally, a place where I can buy EA's games and they'll get more money. No, and it doesn't need to start up when you boot up your computer, because the first time you played the game right after installing it, it worked perfectly fine. So it's an ad. It's there because EA is trying to advertise to you, and nobody wants adware installed on their computer. I cannot wait for the day when Origin and Battle.net and Rockstar Social Club all die and get forgotten and surrender to Steam. Because, yeah, competition drives quality and monopolies aren't good, but guess what? Steam wins the competition. We had competition, it sucked, Steam wins. I am totally happy with Steam just being the de facto standard, okay? And you know, when it comes to indie games, it's a different story, right? Because it might be available on itch, where they'll get more of the money. And I think it's really awesome that gamers are starting to be like more and more aware of the people making their games and care about them more and want to support them more. And obviously, I benefit from that attitude a huge amount. But I think if you have the choice to buy a game on two different platforms for the same price, you should obviously prioritize yourself and pick the better experience for your money. And there was a key word in there, which is same price, right? And admittedly, Valve is kind of twisting our arms a bit here, because one of the terms and conditions for having a game on Steam is that it can't be cheaper on other platforms. You have to give people the same deal on Steam as you would anywhere else. And that is kind of unfortunate for indie developers because they can't like charge more for the version that has all the fancy Steam features and then charge less for the version on itch. But the flip side of the coin is, you know that if Valve let people charge less on other platforms, then EA and Activision and Ubisoft would charge a premium for the Steam version. And PC gamers don't want that. So again, you know, there are pros and cons to everything, but in the end, I think that this does defend the interests of PC gamers in general, and I'm okay with it. So now I'll talk about why my game Polymino specifically is only on Steam. And the answer is because there's so many features that Steam affords me for no extra fees, right? It's just the fee to publish a game on Steam and the same cut of revenue from the game sales as everyone else. And I get access to so many things that I consider to just be essential to my like vision of what I'm creating. So let's talk about those, and let's also just talk about other features on Steam and maybe just take some time to appreciate how good we have it. Because if Steam ever does decide to go the same route as other big tech companies or services and try to start taking away these features or just giving us a worse deal, if we stop right now and appreciate how good we have it, we can do a better job holding them accountable. Valve never change. So first of all, can we talk about Steam Proton for a second? Can we talk about the fact that we are now living in an era where if you have a Linux computer, you can go on the store that has like pretty much every PC game and install games that are Windows exclusive, and usually it just works? Polymino doesn't have native Linux support, but you can play it on Steam Deck. I have Linux on my laptop and I always test Polymino on it and it works. I think this alone is just bonkers. And then there's like Steam achievements where every game has a unified and consistent system for earning achievements. And because they're part of Steam and not just the game, you can display them on your community profile. Because what's the point of getting an achievement if you can't show people that you got it? And this is another thing that's enhanced by the fact that so many games and gamers are on Steam. Because, like, I don't care about displaying an achievement on my Origin profile. No one's going to see it. No one's going to care. So, again, having a de facto standard everyone can agree on, in this case Steam, is really nice. And then there's Steam leaderboards, and for Polymino that's really important because, you know, the puzzle game community is like smaller and more tight-knit than a lot of other communities, so people know each other. They want to compete with people they know. They want to look at the leaderboard, see if they recognize any names, maybe try to beat their scores, and Steam leaderboards let you do that. And I don't have to run a game server, which I wouldn't be able to do nearly as effectively as Valve can, and I get leaderboards in the game. And finally, the thing that is the most important thing, hands down, the number one reason why Polymino is only on Steam is because of Steam Remote Play Together. Because if I had to implement online multiplayer myself as a solo developer, it would mean halting progress in every other area of the game, and I sure as hell don't think that I could do it right now because there's so much other stuff to do. I need to improve the user experience for new players. I need to improve the puzzle game mode. I have ideas to make that mode different and unique, and I need to get around to them, and I couldn't do that if I had to be distracted by implementing online multiplayer. And Polymino doesn't use a game engine. I would have to program it myself in C++. And bro. And yeah, sure, Remote Play Together, it isn't as ideal as proper online matchmaking, right? But if you compare the amount of effort that you have to put into remote play compared to true online multiplayer, remote play is amazing because it takes zero effort to put remote play in your game. That's not an exaggeration. When you're setting up your Steam store page, if you check the box that says your game has local multiplayer, remote play is automatically enabled and it works because it is completely outside of the game. Remote play is not ideal compared to proper online matchmaking, but man, for something which takes literally zero effort, it's pretty good. The puzzle game community wants to be a community. They want to play together. They want to test their mettle against each other. And remote play allows that to exist in some way, shape, or form. And it's awesome as an indie game developer. And also, you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. If I was like sharing my screen with you on Discord and your Discord username showed up in whatever program I was screen sharing, you'd probably call an exorcist. But with remote play together, you can also make your game aware of remote play sessions and find out who's connected and who's playing as who. And I don't want to tip my hand too much because that kind of stuff is coming in Polymino, and I have some ideas which I think are pretty clever, and I'm going to make a video about that in and of itself. If I pull off everything that I think I can pull off with this, I'm going to be really proud of it. So yeah, I mean, it's a case of like when life gives you lemons, right? Like Valve really does deserve their spot at the top of the food chain. They just keep adding more stuff to make it better and do stuff that like 10 years ago, would you have even dreamed that it would be possible to install Steam on a Linux computer and just start installing Windows games and playing them without even thinking about it? Anyways, that's why Polymino is only on Steam, and just in general, those are kind of some of my thoughts about the PC gaming market that I don't really see expressed very often. I think as gamers, we can be pretty pessimistic about the current state of PC gaming, which is totally fair. But I think we should appreciate what's so great, and we have it pretty good. So yeah, I'll see you all next time.